So the second one is, why are boundaries so important in dating and in marriage?
Let me just say this one right here. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. That's like my go-to. I love the word, just the word boundaries excites me because I think it's mandatory for us to have those boundaries. God set boundaries as early as Genesis 1. Okay. Yes. He set the boundary for day and night. He set the boundaries for the Israelites in Exodus. And I'm going to read something to you that it's okay, from Acts 17 even. And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on the face of earth, having determined their appointed time and the boundaries of their lands and territories. This was so that they would seek God, if perhaps they might grasp for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. Ultimately, without boundaries, things can go really crazy in a relationship, and it shows a sign of love to someone to set those boundaries. Like God loves us. God loves us, but he gives us boundaries. And so therefore, it only makes sense for us to do the same thing. And it doesn't have to be like hardcore boundaries. Sometimes it should be. I mean, I think ultimately there's hard stop boundaries, that I can't get past this no matter what. So this is where we will have to differ. But then there's little boundaries like, simple things like you go to bed at this time, I go to bed at this time. Simple things like that need to have boundaries. And the more you express that and the more you communicate that, which I think at some point we're going to get into communication, because obviously that is like the key to all things necessary. And, communicating boundaries is without a doubt. I mean, I could spend the whole rest of our time talking about boundaries because I just genuinely think it's a necessity for all of us to have those boundaries. So I just cannot say enough about creating healthy boundaries within a relationship, and allowing people to accepting those boundaries from your spouse just the same. That's why. Sometimes that's difficult because we like to, me personally, I love to push the boundaries just like anybody else. But when you get to a place of real reverence in your relationship and accepting that this is who God has placed me with, and I am going to accept this person, flaws and all, because we're all flawed, you find that you just genuinely desire to have those boundaries and accept those and love those about the people that you're with, for sure.
Yes, boundaries is also one of my big pet peeves. I learned, because from trial and error, you learn that you have to set those boundaries. And like you said, having that fair share with your partner, that they also have their boundaries that we are supposed to be respecting as well. So it's a balance, as long as it doesn't go to the extreme, right?
Yes.